Chapter 6, Lesson 1, The Iroquois Confederacy. Build background. For hundreds of years, the natural resources of the Northeast supported many Native American groups. They lived off of the land by fishing, hunting, and farming. They traveled the region's many rivers and lakes by canoe. One of the most powerful groups of Native Americans lived mostly in what is now the state of New York. This group was known as the Iroquois. Question 1. The most powerful groups of Native Americans who lived in what is now the state of New York were known as the A. Iroquois, B. Hopi, or C. Apache. Uniting the Iroquois. Look at the map on this page to see where each group lived. As the region became crowded, the groups disagreed over land and natural resources. In the late 1500s, Daganoweda, a Huron Native American, tried to persuade people to stop fighting. However, they would not listen. Daganoweda decided to join with a Mohawk leader named Hiawatha. Hiawatha called members of 5 groups together. He convinced them to form the Iroquois Confederacy. A confederacy is a union of people who join together for a common goal. Around 1722, a 6th group joined the Confederacy. Read what Hiawatha said to these leaders. So here we have where each one's from. These different groups. And here's an excerpt from the speech of Hiawatha. We must unite ourselves into one common band of brothers. We must have but one voice. Many voices make confusion. We must have one fire, one pipe, and one war club. This will give us strength. Question 2. Daganoweda and Hiawatha were 2 Native Americans who were responsible for the formation of the D. The United Nations, E. The Death Star, or F. The Iroquois Confederacy. Number 3. A blank is a union of people who join together for a common goal. Is it A. Confederacy, B. Team, or C. Class? Life among the Iroquois. Iroquois villages were usually built near a river or lake. Small villages might have 100 people in them. Larger villages had as many as 1,000 people. Each village was made up of longhouses. These were rectangular buildings made from the wood and bark of elm trees. Some were more than 200 feet long. The longhouse buildings were so important that the Iroquois called themselves the Haudenosaunee, or the people of the longhouse. Dozens of families lived in each longhouse. Each family had its own living space among the sides of the longhouse. The families stored food and supplies above their living area. An center aisle ran down the length of the longhouse. Here the families built fires for cooking and heating. Most of the villages were connected to each other by well-used trails. One trail, called the Haudenosaunee Trail, stretched more than 250 miles. It connected the villages of 5 of the 6 Iroquois groups. If you look here, these are pictures of longhouses. This diorama shows how the Iroquois built longhouses. Today, longhouses are only used for special ceremonies. Question 4. Iroquois villages were usually built near a blank or a blank. There will be 2 correct answers for this question. Is it A. River, B. Volcano, C. Lake, or D. Oceans? Number 5. Blank were rectangular buildings made from the wood and bark of elm trees. A. Cabins, B. Wigwams, or C. Longhouses. Number 6. Some longhouses were more than blank feet long. 200 feet, B. 300 feet, or C. 100 feet. Question 7. Haudenosaunee means people of the blank. Question 7. Haudenosaunee means people of the blank. A. Tree or B. Longhouse. Number 8. The Haudenosaunee Trail stretched more than blank miles and connected the villages of 5 of the 6 Iroquois groups. Is it A. 450 or B. 250? Clan leaders. Women had a great deal of power in Iroquois villages. They were the leaders of the clans. A clan is a group of families who share the same ancestor. Women owned the longhouses and everything in them. They also owned the land. No important decision could be made without their support. Women also chose which of the men would lead the villages. Question 9. Blank were the leaders of the clans. A. Women, B. Men, or C. Children. A blank is a group of families who share the same ancestor. Is it A. Tribe, B. Cousins, or C. Clan? Number 11. Around what year was the Iroquois Confederacy formed? Was it A. 1670? Was it B. 1570? Or was it C. 1770? Governing the Confederacy. Dagondawida, the peacemaker, and Hiawatha helped organize the Iroquois Confederacy around 1570. The Confederacy leaders had to agree on a way to govern such a large group of Native Americans. The leaders outlined their new government in the Great Law of Peace. Under this law, council members promise that their hearts shall be full of peace and goodwill, and their minds filled with a yearning for the welfare or well-being of the people. A ground council of 50 men ruled the Iroquois Confederacy. Each of the groups had a set number of council members or sachems. Sachems were chosen by the powerful women of each group. If the sachem did not make good decisions as part of the Grand Council, the women could replace him. The capital of the Iroquois Confederacy was Onondaga, in what is now the New York State. The Grand Council met there every summer to discuss peace and trade with other Native American groups. Although each Iroquois group made its own decisions, decisions made by the Grand Council affected all Iroquois groups. Number 12. What was the Great Law of Peace? Was it A law that made peace among the groups and allowed the leaders to govern such a big number of Native Americans? Or B, the nickname of the U.S. Constitution? Number 13. A sachem is the Native American word for A, the rule group of a Native American Jedi, or B, the council of each group in the Iroquois Confederacy. Number 14. The capital of the Iroquois Confederacy was the blank. A, Onondaga, B, Washington, D.C., or C, Springfield, Illinois. The Iroquois today. Today, there are approximately 70,000 Iroquois living in the United States. Most still live in the Northeast region, but their way of life has changed. Instead of farming and hunting, they hold many different types of jobs in the community. Instead of long houses, the Iroquois now live in modern houses. However, long houses are still used for special ceremonies. Some Iroquois also speak the language of their ancestors. The Grand Council still meets each year in Onondaga, New York, to discuss issues that affect the Iroquois. This is a traditional Mohawk top, and a Seneca dances are performed at the ceremonies today. This here is a Seneca dance. An enduring game. One lasting part of Iroquois culture is now shared across the Northeast. It is the game of lacrosse. Players carry wooden sticks with nets attached at the top. They use them to shoot a small ball at a goal to score points. Native Americans originally played this game for recreation and to settle disagreements between groups. Today, lacrosse is played between groups of Native Americans as well as at many high schools and colleges around the country and world. Players now wear helmets and gloves and shoulder pads to protect themselves. Putting it together. Oh, right here is them playing lacrosse. The Iroquois Confederacy brought 6 different Native American groups together. In a similar way, the 50 states of the United States form one country. Some historians think the Iroquois Confederacy may have provided a model for our country's government. Number 15. About how many Iroquois live in the United States today? Is it A, 50,000, B, 85,000, or C, 70,000? 16. What game that is still played today comes from the Iroquois? Is it A, lacrosse, B, football, or C, soccer? And number 17. Many historians believe the Iroquois Confederacy may have provided a model for our country's A, government, B, flag, or C, money system.